From HousingWire in Dallas, Texas, I'm Allison LaForgia, managing editor of HousingWire's content studio, and today I'm joined by two experts in servicing from Sagent. First, I'm joined by Leonard, who is the SVP of Product Management. Thank you for joining me, Shane.
Happy Friday. Thanks for having me.
I'm also joined by Monika Peltz, who's the SVP of Customer Success at Sagent. Monika, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Shane and Monika, let's start with sharing a little bit about your roles at Sagent and how they connect to the company's mission to modernize mortgage servicing.
I guess I'll start. I have the fun job, quite honestly. We get to create every day. We get to reimagine servicing, get together as a group, maybe argue a little bit, shake hands, agree to disagree at sometimes. But ultimately, we get the joy of seeing our thoughts, our desires, our dreams come true right in front of us as we rebuild and reimagine what a servicing system should be going into the future.
So Shane might think he has the fun job, but I also have the fun job because I get to work with people. So the customer success management team, we are the representatives for Sagent for all of our customers. We have the customer success managers that are the day-to-day contacts for all of our customers. We have the customer support team that handles any issues that come up or tickets or enhancements that our customers are looking for. And our training and advisory team, they really have the fun stuff. They get to do the hands-on training and they get to help businesses look at their current processes and help them improve them.
So you both just mentioned improving different pieces of different processes. Sagent has said that servicing is the hardest segment in mortgage to modernize. Why is that? And what are the core challenges that have held this modernization back?
Simply put, it's 60 years of changes, 60 years of regulations, new products piled into systems that, while they were at the time state of the art, we refer to them as big iron now. And those big iron systems are great. They run like tanks. They run every day. They can scale up for millions of loans. And those are all great things. You can depend on them. You know the calculations are right. But over many, many decades, those systems have become outdated from a technology standpoint. No longer is there a fear to use cloud-based technology to process millions of payments. We've done a lot of testing on that, and we spend a lot of time on making sure that the system can perform at that level. And what we find is we can get it there with small tweaks, and that from a cost standpoint at a much lower cost point. The other part about that is the ability to change it. The systems have become rigid because of years of code that is sitting on top of code, and maybe the documentation is there, but even if it is, understanding it is difficult. So it's hard to unwind that. And so from the standpoint of Sagent, what we've tried to do is look at 60 years of new products and new compliance and new requirements, look at it holistically and make sure that we've covered all the bases. We don't want to roll out a system where a servicer needs 3 other systems to do that job. Our goal at the end is for a servicer to sit down and be able to do their job and not have to go to an Excel spreadsheet, an Access database, a .NET application, or whatever else to do their job, and then try to get that information back into the current system. Typically, these systems have 2,500 up to 2,500 fields of data. That's a lot of information. So what we've tried to do is make sure that, coupled with the fact that those 2,500 fields have 300 processes or more associated with them, all reside in an environment that we can change quickly. So the reason it's difficult is unpacking all that, putting it into unpacking it, repackaging it, and put it into a format that a servicer can actually enjoy servicing again. And I did use the word enjoy, so that maybe put some fun back into what we do and not have the drudgery of, oh my goodness, how am I going to fix today's problem?
mortgage servicing is so complex, and people get really nervous when you start moving their cheese around and talking about, well, maybe we could do this in a different way altogether, because it's so foundational to even our entire economy. It does give people a lot of pause. So having somebody like Shane around, who's very thoughtful and very passionate and very excited about what he sees in the future, that's really easy to share with people because it's so authentic and it's really important, especially right now.
Now, well, we've both just spoken about looking towards the future. Sagent has deep roots in servicing through platforms like LoanServe, Tempo, and Care. How has that legacy shaped the approach you're taking today with real-time innovation?
So our team at Sagent is made up of people that are experts in servicing. So servicing people, building a servicing system. So our focus is scaling for the smallest and the largest servicers in the country. We want to be a servicer partner for everyone. Right now, we really have the talent, the expertise. We have all of these people that have worked on our own systems and others to really come up with a creative approach based on our expertise. LoanServe has been around for many, many years, and it's good. It's solid. It's iron, like Shane said, but it also is ready. It's ready for retirement. And we can't do that. You can't just make something go away and not have something better in its place. So Care is very much a transitional type of system, and so is Tempo. Both of them are moving right into the Daro ecosystem. It's super smooth. It's great. But what we continue to do is try to understand our customers' processes and how they're changing their expectations. And that can be based on anything: customer experience, regulatory changes, maybe changes within their own banking system with mergers and acquisitions. So we're always trying to react and anticipate the changes that we can take and tweak what we're building to meet their needs.
For us in product, it's a huge advantage. Having systems that you can reference, understanding that the outbound activities that take place, the credit bureau reporting and things like that, are not an issue for us. We understand how those work. We do those every day. The big advantage to that is that we can spend our time reimagining the processes that support those, reimagining how a user needs to interact with that data, and then ultimately taking it to another level and saying how much of this doesn't actually have to happen. So having those deep roots, having the ability to look across the aisle and talk to a guy like Joe Dombrowski, who is my partner over on the LoanServe side, is invaluable. It's incredible, because when we run into something and say, okay, how did you solve that? And then him say, hey, we solved it this way, but that didn't turn out so well. And in some cases, or it turned out great, we can incorporate those. So we get the best of both worlds. We get to see what works, doesn't work, and we do it in such an amazing partnership way. The way we go about our daily business, both of us, is incredible. We're actually helping each other. Unusual in these circumstances. I'm actually working with a team of people that's trying to retire the thing that he's put so many years into. And we do it with a smile on our face because we can see the future and we know where we're going with it. So having those roots and having those that background, having those other systems out there is incredible. It's an incredible advantage. And I can't thank the partnership we have with the other teams within the entirety of this organization enough, and how supportive they've been of what we've done from a Dara standpoint.
Now, I've heard you both mention a specific word, data, a couple of times. Can you walk us through a real world example of how real-time unified data is transforming servicing operations and why that has been so hard to accomplish until now?
Well, I can tell you that things in servicing move super fast all the time. And when we think about how we've been limited, data is king. You have to have data. You've got to be able to get your data to tell you a story at any time. and Shane's got some good examples here on this to illustrate this, but it's applicable in all the processes that servicers do: cash, escrow, collections. You need to have data in order to work correctly, to report correctly to other third parties, credit bureaus, etc. But if you're stuck in a multi-day process, you really are struggling for a point in time with data that tells the story right now. What is the story of this process, of this customer, of this loan? So we're working to now move past that, get ourselves into real-time data so that you can use it when you need it, and at a point in time, give a clear message. Like I said, Shane's got some examples that he can share, I'm sure.
And I happen to live in Florida. I live in St. Augustine, Florida, on an island. So it's near and dear to my heart to keep track of what's going on with the weather at all times, because at any given point in time, I'm going to get an alert that there's something heading our way that's not going to be pleasant. And what I'm speaking of is hurricanes, obviously. So from a data standpoint, and having gone through and being in the middle of the data with a large bank during Hurricane Katrina, I can tell you where we were then versus where we are now, and how we've at Sagent reimagined that is mind-blowing. Love showing how we handle a disaster within the system, communicating directly with FEMA, having those codes come into the system, giving the servicer the opportunity to hit one button and actually publish that information out at the loan level, which immediately then allows it to post to our consumer care app, so that somebody logs in and says, hey, you're in this zone, are you affected? Them hit a button and say, no, I'm not, which is thankfully 95% of the time. But getting to that is expensive and time consuming for a servicer. It happens overnight or over a 2 or 3 day period. We're talking about moments. And then consequently, after that, them being able to see the data in real time that we have 1,000 people in these affected areas, and 250 of them by noon have said, no, I'm good. And 25 said yes. And knowing it at the loan level, on the loan, and then being able to see the data in near real time behind it, because that's what we're providing, is an incredible change to how we do anything. So from that standpoint, data is everything to us, and having it immediately or within moments is an incredible transition. And I'm looking forward to seeing where that takes the industry, from not just from how the regulators view servicing, how servicers see themselves, and how the customer benefits from that.
Now, you just touched on things that you're excited about for the future. Let's lean into that. Looking ahead, what are some things that you're excited about for Sagent and for the broader servicing industry?
Well, I, for one, am excited to watch Monika have much better conversations on a daily basis with our customer base, which means her and I have better conversations, or her and Joe, who I mentioned earlier. That's what I'm looking for, too. It actually, we can bring some joy into this. It is tough being in servicing. It always has. It's tough enough without having the support. But for me, from a future standpoint, that's where you see that. You see everybody that is associated with it, from your customer base, the people that are affected by the system. Ultimately, they may or may not know it. Simple things like how fast the system can recognize a problem and allow an IVR to react to it, or whatever website or interface that you're using. And we hope you use ours because we think it's special. But being able to have that information come and go back and forth is going to change how Monika Peltz sees her job on a daily basis. So everybody is affected by that. And then on the product side, we get to be excited that we've done something to make somebody smile.
I'm in general a very excitable person, so I love these type of questions. My heart has always been in servicing. I love servicing. I love taking care of customers. I think it's just so important, and it can be done well or it can be done terribly. So I think of all the things that we've demoed and we've worked on and we've talked about, It's the user experience that really gets me excited. I am excited for people to start working on Dara and to experience this new way of servicing because it is great. And we have all worked in very clunky systems where we felt like we didn't have any control over our own destiny. There is so much good here to be experienced, and it's going to bring a real change for everything that our servicers do. And then the impact to the borrowers is huge. It's just going to be so important how this affects them in the end, because it's not just how a servicer executes their job, or it's not the policies that they have or the customer service that they have. The technology matters too, especially when you've got something customer facing like care, but also the user experience leads to happier employees that treat their customers better, higher satisfaction scores. So it's just going to be a really big change for a lot of people. So, and I too am excited not to yell at Shane.
Well, what an exciting thing to look forward to, bringing some joy, like Shane said, into the future of servicing. Shane, Monika, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Allison.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.